In the summer of 1886, the rapidly industrializing civilizations of Earth were ground to a halt, not by war, not by some extraterrestrial threat, but by a deadly, unexplainable environmental catastrophe known as the Great Frost, a sudden plummeting of temperatures that turned the planet into a world of endless white landscapes, where you are gripped by a piercing chill that bites through thick layers of woolen clothing to chill your very core. Much of the planet, especially in the southern hemisphere, seemingly fell to this world-conquering freeze before the great nations knew what was happening. But if you were an average citizen of the then mighty British Empire, the first signs of the frost would have come when you felt the fresh crunch of frosted grass below your feet, and ice forming on the windows of London townhouses during the unseasonally chilly summer months. Those within hotter climates such as the Sahara Desert would begin to notice another strange phenomena, near endless rainstorms saturating their desert home, while those further north would fall victim to killer snowstorms, blanketing their homes, towns and cities with an inescapable avalanche of snow that would never again melt, thanks to temperatures across the globe dropping below freezing. As the temperature continued to drop, life would become more grim. Even during the summer solstice, when the sun's warming effects should have been at their strongest, you'd notice the days seeming dimmer and more grey as the sun struggles to shine through, whilst the rustling of leaves and pleasant birdsong which once epitomized the summer seasons would quickly become a distant memory. Crops soon began to fail, leading to a worldwide famine and the general mood of the population plummeting, as you and your starving neighbours began to realise that this cold snap would not pass like those fabled little ice ages of the past. But what was the cause of this great frost that turned everyday life into a battle against the fierce cold? Well, to be perfectly honest with you from the outset, there's no definitive answer. The few civilizations that remain out amongst the Frostlands are more concerned with shuffling between steam hubs for warmth and making sure the cookhouses have enough soup to survive the next whiteout. As such, it's all rather vague. But there are a few bits of evidence and theories proposed by those few great thinkers who remain regarding what brought about their icy apocalypse. For example, the renowned inventor Nikola Tesla, who found his own failed state of Tesla City amongst the ice, believed that a large asteroid collided with the continent of South America, chucking massive amounts of dust up into the atmosphere and triggering earthquakes, which themselves subsequently triggered a series of eruptions along the Pacific Ocean volcanic chain, the two most notable of these being the eruptions of Mount Tambora and Krakatoa in Indonesia. Two volcanoes that, in our own universe, did in fact erupt in the 19th century, albeit almost 70 years apart. Both of these eruptions released vast quantities of dust and sulfur dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere, ushering in volcanic winters, in which the sun's solar radiation was reflected away from the Earth in greater quantities, thanks to volcanic ash in the atmosphere, and the sulfur dioxide contributing to an increase in highly reflective clouds in the sky. The effect of these volcanic winters was the occurrence of years with no summer, where the summer months were some of the coldest on record, and crops failed all across the northern hemisphere. Could then the combination of a massive asteroid impact in South America and a series of volcanic eruptions throughout the Pacific be enough to cause the Great Frost? Possibly. We know that two giant volcanic eruptions did occur in the Frostpunk universe shortly before the Great Frost, and the Great Ice Storm that finally wiped out the nations of Earth did originate in the southern hemisphere. But there are other events which potentially helped brew up this perfect storm. While the pre-frost world may in many ways resemble our own, it is not our world. The nations at the forefront of progress and industrial revolution, namely the British Empire, were light years ahead technologically than their cousins in our universe, all thanks to the success of Charles Babbage and Ada Lovelace's computing machines, which kickstarted a grand information age and allowed for the production of epic feats of industry and innovation through the use of increasingly smaller programmable computers. In the smog-covered streets of London, Birmingham and Edinburgh, you'd find grand mechanized factories producing technological marvels such as automatons and airships, which came to define this new steam-powered age. But the innovation had a darker side too. Documents found in the Frostlands, containing orders for a Royal Navy lieutenant, detail rumours of a supposed doomsday weapon one constructed and potentially used by one of the pre-Frost nations. While the nature of this weapon is unclear, the British military held great interest in both covering up and acquiring any and all information about this apparent device, specifically information regarding mentions of something known as the Saffron Cloud. It's believed that this cloud is linked to the Doomsday Weapon, and is essentially a collection of anthropogenic sulfur aerosols, tiny particles released into the atmosphere, which also work to create new clouds and reflect sunlight. Finally, research conducted by the Royal Society at their now abandoned Arctic Observatory points out that the loss of sunlight reaching and warming the Earth cannot solely be explained by the pollution of the atmosphere caused by the previous events we've discussed. The astronomers believed that the sun itself was, in fact, dimming, which is all the more terrifying, as it means that for you and your fellow Frostlanders huddled around the generator, there may be no end to the Great Frost. Now, if the world of Frostpunk interests you but you're yet to give the first game a go, or maybe you're eager to get a friend into the Frostlands, then we've got some great news for you, as from the 1st to the 14th of December 2024, we're taking part in the Jingle Jam fundraiser raising money for Wallace & Gromit's Grand Appeal in aid of the Bristol Children's Hospital, and any donations of £35, around $44 or more, get you access to a collection of 18 great PC games, including Frostpunk, alongside other games like 2 Point Campus, Scorn, For the King 2, and many more. So if you fancy doing something charitable this holiday season, or just want to give yourself a nice Christmas present of a bunch of great games, then you can find links down in the description to donate and learn more about the charity and the Jingle Jam as a whole. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.